Have you ever seen someone become an active alcoholic while sledding with their kids?
No.
Yes, you have. Let me remind you. Apparently, I need to refresh your memory for once. I was in a period of sobriety after a most of a decade of active alcoholism, and we had planned to go sledding with our kids and the kids of another family. Another family was joining us. Can't say who they are, obviously, but you're gonna figure it out here in a few seconds. And we were sledding
Oh,
here in Denver. They live a little bit outside of town, and they're just wonderful people that we really just enjoy the heck out of. And we've had lots of adventures with them. We've gone away for long weekends with them. We've camped with them. We've done lots of stuff. And drinking has always been involved. But they've never been drinkers the way I was a drinker.
right.
They have a couple of drinkers and enjoy drinking culture, but they weren't addicted, obviously. But so we're sledding with them and their kids. And after sledding, I think we were gonna go. I think you had made some chili or something. We were gonna have or soups or something. We were gonna have an afternoon together and then dinner. And while sledding, even though I'd been sober for some, I don't know, period of time, in my head, I like a switch flipped and I said, I cannot do this. I cannot be sober in front of these friends who enjoy a cocktail or two, but really don't care about drinking nearly the way I did. So I mean, we're talking like kind of crazy stuff, but I think very, very common as well. So I decided I can't be a non-drinker. And I think I told you in the car from the sledding home or so. I don't remember what I told you, but I told
Yeah,
you
we
I
have two
have
separate cars, but
Sheri, I have to tell you that I have decided to drink. Oh,
yeah.
what was that like for you?
Well, I wish I could like go back to that place and feel that, but I'm sure there was like disappointment and frustration and disgust, quite honestly. Like, my God, you're just gonna take a perfectly great day. You've had fun with your family, you've had fun with our friends, and then you're gonna just ruin it all because you need to have more fun. And I'm sure like gluttonous, selfish went through my mind.
What about do you I know it's a long time ago to remember, but do you feel like you had like a nervous system reaction? Did you like go from everything's fine to whoop, I'm triggered now?
Yeah. And the way I handled nervous system reaction like that was usually in the form of anger.
Yeah.
So trying to keep my shit together in front of
Mm,
our kids and the friends and their family, probably was really, really, really made me even more upset.
mm. That you had to, because of my timing, you
Yeah.
had these feelings and you had to fake it in front of all these people
Yeah.
for the 1 zillionth time.
Yeah. And we were at their place, right?
I think we were down here, but
Okay.
maybe.
Well, yeah.
But so there's so many pieces to this simple little story that are so fascinating to me. One of them is how someone who prides myself in being an extrovert and enjoying being in the company of others, I feel myself get energized by other people. That is a huge part of who I am. But how I could read people so poorly as to think they would be, because this would have been the first time we were together with them where I didn't drink.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to have to own up to the fact, and I don't know exactly what I had planned to say, but that I'm not drinking.
Maybe you didn't have a plan of what to say, and that's why
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
had those doubts
I
creeping
mean,
in,
the
and then they
idea
took
that
over.
I didn't have a plan is pretty preposterous. I mean, I
Yeah.
definitely had a plan. It might not have been a good plan, but I definitely had something that I had planned to say. But I just couldn't stand the potential for shame and embarrassment. Yeah, I would say 10% of it is this looks like it's going to be a fun afternoon. I want to drink beer. But I would say 90% of it was I don't want these friends that I admire and respect. They're very smart, they're very accomplished, and they're just genuine and loyal and empathetic and all the things that you want in a friendship. I didn't want them to see me as weak because I had an addiction that I was tackling. And so my read on their reaction was so far off because now in long-term sobriety, I'm going to get emotional. They have become some of our greatest champions. Um, they have supported us in ways that I can't mention here, and It's profound. And so the fact that I underestimated that friendship so poorly, so badly, really upsets me, obviously. Um, but that's what it's like. That's what addiction is. It changes our thinking, becomes flawed, and we think less of people and certainly less of ourselves. And I couldn't stand the idea of being shamed in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a feeling at all for what that did? Maybe you don't remember that specific instance, but I know you remember when we would have periods where I had been sober for a while and I would suddenly say, Sheri, I made the decision that I'm going to go back to drinking, because that's how I relapsed. I didn't just, you didn't just find me like passed out in the basement or something. Yeah. Do you have any recollection on what that did, like kind of direct, immediate impact to trust? And maybe there just wasn't any trust to begin with. I don't know.
Well, I've always said that like trust is like I had layers of trust with you, but it certainly eroded the level of trust and my belief in you. And so when you would say I'm gonna work on sobriety or I'm gonna quit drinking, I mean you didn't say working on recovery because that wasn't part of the plan. That was because we were so naive.
Sobriety and recovery were different things, and we didn't really understand.
And that like I said, like it eroded that piece of it, and so I felt there was manipulation involved. And I know we have often joked on the podcast and other things where you feel like I gave you way too much credit for being smart and manipulative and planning, and maniacal, but that's how I felt. I felt like it was a ploy. I felt like I was just someone that you could easily toy with, and I was a pawn. And that we were just nothing to you.
And so again, bad read on people. That thought never entered my mind. I was selfish, and I was so concerned about what someone was going to think about me. I couldn't spare any room to think about how you were thinking.
Yeah.
Man, I am sorry. I'm so sorry. Do you realize that the visual in my head for nervous system activation is boop? Apparently, every time I think about boop, it goes up on some kind of a meter.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe not a good time for levity.
Again, bad reading of people.
Yeah, bad reading of people. If you'd like to hear more about our opinionated ramblings, please check out the Untoxicated podcast.
And if you're more of the reading type, go to soberandunashamed.com.
If you're picking up what we're laying down, you might be ready to find your tribe. Please check out echoesofrecovery.org or shoutsobriety.org. We get what you're going through. You've got this, and we've got you.